Good evening. My name is Myron Harwood, and let's turn this one is on. That works better. I'm with Clean Water Action, and watching the film, I saw some people I knew, but I saw a lot of people I didn't know telling their stories, but it really reminded me of some other stories I've heard. And I remember a little over a year ago, there was a pretty big public meeting that I was invited to come to in Washington County about drilling that was going on. And afterwards, I was talking to a woman who had farmed in Washington County for quite a few years. And she said to me that she just did not understand how a company could move in next door to her and destroy something that she had worked for all of her life. And that really said a lot to me, both about just, first of all, what kind of impact is going on out here, but also what people expect, and that people expect that there is protection for them. People deserve to have that protection. And that's something that's really motivated me to put in the time to work on this issue since then. One thing that I think is most important, I'm going to talk a little bit about some things that Clean Water Action has identified that we can do in terms of getting better laws, getting better rules, better regulations on the books to protect ourselves from some of the pollution that's being caused by the drilling. But one thing I think that's most important is to recognize that it's not me as State Director of Clean Water Action that's going to do it. It's everyone who's here. We've been working. One of the things we've been focused on is what to do about making sure that they treat the wastewater that John was just talking about. That's turning our streams salty as well as putting a lot of other toxins into it. A lot of wastewater is being discharged without being treated, and part of the problem is we don't have good rules for it. So we've been working on getting the state to have strong regulations in terms of the wastewater treatment. And, DEP put us on a committee that I go to many hideous meetings of. We're often, in a room of 20, 25 people. I was the only environmental citizen representative there. And I was not going to convince these guys to do the right thing just by being there and speaking to them. But when there was a public comment period on these wastewater regulations, over 4,000 people wrote in saying, we desperately need to make sure that we have strong wastewater treatment rules on these companies. They need to stop this dumping. And that's something which is why we're very close to getting these wastewater rules on the books. There are a number of other things we can do. I hate to disagree with a lawyer, not being a lawyer. Yes, the State Oil and Gas Act does restrict municipalities, but one thing municipalities that has been upheld at the State Supreme Court, one thing they can do is they can use their zoning power to regulate the time and place of drilling. And that's something which hopefully Pittsburgh is going to consider, and hopefully other municipalities in this area. There is that power that we can take at the local level. We can't ban the drilling, but we can make some rules about it. At the state level, there's some important legislation that's been introduced that can make a big difference. Representative George from Pittsburgh County, where the well just went out of control, has legislation to require DEP inspection. Sounds wild and crazy, but it's certainly not happening now. It would require inspection at wells during drilling and after drilling is completed. It would require public disclosure of the chemicals. It would require that there's much more distance between any drinking water source and the well. Right now in Pennsylvania, you can drill a gas well 200 feet from a drinking water well, which is crazy. So this would move it back to at least 1,000 feet. And that's something which we think there are a lot of important activities that people can get involved in. We're taking folks to Harrisburg later on in the month. So please make sure if you're interested in this issue that you're signing up so that you get involved. Thanks.
Hi. The top thing about going last on a panel is most everybody else pretty much much touches some of the thoughts that I had relative to my reaction to the film, and especially following Myron, because he really honed in on a couple of the issues that I thought was really important. But on a personal level, you can't help but feel viscerally a sense of outrage when you see this film and see the experiences that these people have had across the country. And I haven't had the chance to meet Josh Fox, and I apologize. I got here about a half hour late. Every way to get here from Elizabeth seemed to be flooded tonight. And what is normally a half-hour drive took me, I'm not kidding you, 2 hours to get here. So I apologize I missed maybe the first half hour of the film. But Josh, you did a really good job. And I can tell you, part of the reason why you may not have had a full house in Harrisburg is because the legislature isn't in session this week. But trust me, if you were there, I guarantee you there'd be a lot more of us that would have been able to see it in Harrisburg. So in addition to the sense of outrage, let me also say that what it really does, this film really does bring real focus to not just the overall environmental impact, but especially, I think, to water. Pennsylvania is blessed because we have more miles of streams and waterways than any other state in the nation except Alaska. And in the future, quality of life and good clean water is really important, not just to our public health, but to our economic development in the future as well. Myron touched base, and I just want to elaborate just a little bit about the importance of the regulatory package that Secretary Hanger and DEP have promulgated relative to the treatment and disposal of production water, of frack water. Right now, presently, the frack water that comes back from the wells, the production water, we're hearing that companies are trying to recycle it. But to the extent that it's not recycled, it is taken to our sewage treatment plants.
Doesn't work.
Sewage treatment plants, and in the Mon Valley where I'm from, it's especially a problem, but across the state, that's principally where it goes to sewage treatment plants that are designed to do biological degrading of sewage materials, not the kind of chemicals that you find in production water and in frack water. So presently, and in my district, I have 2 sewage treatment plants that are permitted to take the frack water. They're allowed to take 1% of their total volume that they treat every day in terms of all sewage. 1% of the total flow is allowed to come from frack water. So presently, the solution to the disposal problem of frack water, the solution is dilution. And that's really not adequate. Because over time, and especially during low flow levels in the Mon River, we've seen high spikes in the TDS levels in the river. And that poses a problem for aquatic life, and frankly, it poses a problem, because it exceeds our drinking water standards as well, too. So Secretary Hanger and DEP have promulgated the regulations. And Myron's right, there's typically a lot of representation to EQB that's pretty sensitive to industry. But overwhelmingly, the public comment period really did have an impact on the Environmental Quality Board members. And they voted to sustain and to move forward with this new regulation. It is now before the Regulatory Review Committee is now reviewing it. The Attorney General has to look at it and make sure it's constitutional. And I know Attorney General Corbett will in fact find this to be constitutional. Okay? If it becomes, and then it will move on and can only be rejected if one or both of the standing environmental committees in the House or the Senate reject it. So I just want to bring that to your attention because business and industry has initiated a strong lobby effort against this TDS regulation. Okay? Let me one final thing tell you why this is important. The technology is in fact out there to treat frack water. Okay? I mean, frack water specific treatment systems. The technology is there. But if the drillers have a choice of taking it to a sewage treatment plant where they're not going to be charged very much to have it disposed, versus a frack water specific treatment system which is more expensive,